This is the Sixth Man Show, an Orlando Magic podcast, with your hosts Luke Sylvia and Jonathan Osborne, covering all things Magic basketball. By fans, for fans. Go Magic. What's going on, Orlando Magic fans? You guys are back with the Sixth Man Show. Today's date is March 7th, 2022. Jonathan Osborne here, as always, joined by my co-host Luke Sylvia. Man, your hair is short.
You like that? You like that little
totally
short
fine.
haircut?
Luke was debating whether or not to wear a hat for this podcast. He feels like his hair is too short. And me and Kevin are like, hey, buddy, could be worse.
Yeah. I like my hair to be, showing through the hat a little bit, like down the bottom.
Like Jay Beebs back in the day.
Right. Yeah. That's what they called me. By they, I mean my mom, and that was it. So, yeah.
Shouldn't have shared that.
Listen,
Oversharing.
I do wonder, Jonathan, what'd you do to lose your voice? Because you did it again recently.
Sick.
You're
I'm
sick.
just sick. Yeah. Kevin, filled in on the podcast last week. Him and I both got on and we're like, yeah, we're both, feeling kind of crappy. The kid was sick last week, and then like Monday, I just had, all the body aches and all that kind of stuff. So I feel much better. It was like Monday, Tuesday, I felt like crap, and then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I felt fine. It's just, my voice is like totally gone. So it is what it is. Yeah. Luke, we don't have a ton to talk about. Just 2 weeks this game. We're going to get into that in just a minute. Before we do, we've got a couple of housekeeping items. First of all, patreon.com/the Sixth Man Show. If you've ever been sitting around and those guys at the Sixth Man Show, they're just so handsome and they just great voices, and they just put out great content for free all the time. I'm sure it's not free for them to put out content. How could I financially support these young strapping lads? Well, let me tell you, patreon.com/the Sixth Man Show is where you can find us. 3 separate tiers to support us, and we shout out our patrons every week. I'm going to do my best to do that right now. Shout out Court Cousins, Drew Gooden, Armin, Keith Garcia, Zico, Carson Tulo, Nathan Lynn, Ellis, Jonathan Borges, Norm L, Magic Player History, Giulio, Bailey, Matt Lyman, Eric Segovia, Gabe Gaines. You guys are incredible. Be like our patrons, folks. Find us at patreon.com/the Sixth Man Show if you would like to support us. Really quickly, I want to shout out everybody that came out Friday night to Friendly Confines in Altamont Springs at the Altamont Mall. We had a great time. Special shout out to John McCall from the Orlando Magic, who came out. He's a ticket rep with them. And Billy, I think his last name is Bunting. Billy Bunting came out as well. Gave away a signed Cole Anthony basketball. Our boy Harrison went home with that, won the raffle. So if you guys like winning signed Orlando Magic stuff, make sure you make it out to the next watch party that we have. Will probably be for the draft lottery, if I had to guess. Was a great turnout last year, Luke. Didn't get the result we wanted, but was fun nonetheless.
Yep, got it covered by local news, and you guys showed out for that event. So hopefully that is able to be done again, as it looks like the Magic will be getting those top odds. So but yeah, shout out y'all. Sorry, I'm engulfed in Markelle Fultz stuff right now. I'm just trying to see things. He took his first 3-pointer tonight.
Okay.
He took his first 2, really. So he's 0 for 2 right now. Last 3 games, he's 0.7 attempts a game. Hasn't made one yet. So I was wondering when that first 3 attempt was going to come, and it came tonight.
Well, yeah, I just think that's something that we shouldn't really bank on, moving forward, is Markelle Fultz's, 3-point shooting. But speaking of things that you can bank on, you can bank on me bringing the weekly state of the Magic each Monday. So this week, folks, your Orlando Magic went 1-3 on the week with a 119-103. Started the week at home with a win over the Indiana Pacers, then had a 122-114 loss, in which the Magic blew an 18-point lead at home to the Pacers on Wednesday. Then the 103-97 win in Toronto over the Raptors on Friday. and Saturday night when we're recording this, a 124-96 blowout loss in Memphis to the Grizzlies on Saturday. This week brings the Magic to a record of 16 wins, 49 losses. They have the worst record in the Eastern Conference and the worst record in the NBA, Luke. Coming into Saturday, they were 28th in offensive rating, 20th in defensive rating, 28th in overall net rating. But Luke, since January 1st, the last 2 months, the Magic are 13th in defensive rating. So although it does not feel like this team has come anywhere close to reaching their potential defensively in terms of locking in every night, they have been almost top 10 in defensive rating since the turn of the calendar year. Quick look at the injury report. Jonathan Isaac's still out. Bol Bol is out. Markelle Fultz did return this week, as you all well know. Wendell Carter has now missed the last 2 games with a non-COVID illness. Jalen Suggs missed his first game tonight. In this most recent span, I should say, with a sprained right ankle. He was questionable. We don't know when he's going to be back. But Luke, I felt it was time to bring back one segment of the show.
Ooh.
And that's Tankathon.
Wow.
It just feels like we'll talk more about this as we get further into the show, but that's what it feels like the focus has turned to, to the draft and to tanking. I'm not going to share my screen. We're just going to go ahead and fire up the Tankathon, tankathon.com, the draft lottery simulator. Right now, the Orlando Magic are tied with the Houston Rockets with a 52.1% chance of ending up in the top 4 and a 14% chance of the number 1 overall pick. Same for the Detroit Pistons. You all know the rules. You get one sim lottery, and you have to share your results. Luke, how are you feeling? Before I press the button, what do we think is going to happen here?
I'm just going to go worst case here. I think the Magic fall out of the top 4.
And you were almost correct. 1, New York Knicks. 2, Oklahoma City Thunder. 3, San Antonio Spurs. 4, Orlando Magic.
The
5,
New York
Houston
Knicks,
Rockets.
Screw you guys, all right? Jumping up to number. What do you guys been around for so long? You got how many championships? Get out of here, bro. You guys don't need to be at the top. You got your chance.
The Knicks, I don't think they have that many championships, though, if I'm not mistaken.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. I said they've been around for so long. I think they've got 3.
True.
Poverty. And they've got 3 total, and they've been around
Poverty
since
franchise.
Forever. Yeah, agreed. Also, I believe. Let's see. Hold on. Okay. What did you say the Magic are on the week? 2-2.
This week they were 2-2.
2-2. Okay.
I probably said 1-3, but they were 2-2.
You did. Okay, that's why I was double checking. But number 4. I mean, you still get a crack at one of the best 4. It does feel like it's a 4-player draft. I wouldn't be mad at the 4th pick. I would be very upset with the 5th or worse. But I don't know, man. It's crazy that we're already this point of the season and that we're firing up Tankathon. But it's right. I mean, the front office is telling us, fire up Tankathon.
Well, yeah, it's that time of year, and we'll be sure to do that each week. I'm right there with you. 4 would definitely suck. 5 would be devastating, in my opinion. But
yeah,
we got a long way until, at least I think about like 2.5 months until the draft lottery. So we'll just kind of keep that going. And I owe one of our listeners a shout out. A couple weeks ago, you and I started talking about, the best, number 5. And this is kind of suiting because we're saying, in our opinion, the 5th pick this year would be devastating. But Jeremy King commented on that video the other week and said, the 5th pick's off the top of my head. Garnett, Barkley, Pippen, Wade, Cousins, Fox, Suggs, Allen, Carter, Trae Young, Darius Garland, Kevin Love. Not all bad. Not all bad. In this draft, we're still shooting for top 3. But that was a very astute observation by Jeremy King. So, Jeremy, thank you so much. Okay, Luke. This is where I'm going to need your help, buddy. Your boy, I'm trying my best, but I am just flat out running out of breath here.
Yep.
Friday night, Magic in Toronto. Big win. They were Fred VanVleetless. Okay, obviously a big blow to them. But Toronto Raptors, still kind of right there in the thick of it in the playoff hunt, they're still trying to win some games down the stretch here, but I mean, the Magic pulled out the W, my friend. Let's talk about the Raptors game Friday night.
Yeah. So you look at it, man. This is a game that you had to. The Magic, like for lack of a better term, really did grind it out. Like neither team shoots above 40% from the field. Neither the Raptors shoot 32% from three. Magic shoot almost 30% from three. Where the Magic did kind of make up ground, Jonathan, was in the free throw category. They shoot 21 free throws to Toronto's 17. The difference, the Magic make 95%. They miss one free throw against the Raptors, and the Raptors miss 6 out of their 17. Free throws, Magic stay in it, and pretty much every other category. 11 turnovers for the Magic, which is pretty great, all things considered. You know, you're without Dell, you're without, obviously, Markelle not playing back-to-backs. Chuma, 11 rebounds. Cole Anthony, 12 rebounds. 7 players in double digits. This was a game that wasn't pretty on paper, Jonathan, but I truly think that it was a better product than the numbers say. The Magic on offense, moving the ball incredibly well. It just seemed like they were always making the extra pass. There was players being, patient out there, understanding that they are down players and cannot afford to make dumb plays. And they have one of their best, limiting turnovers games of the year. So I there's a really great effort. Toronto would try to get back into the game, Jonathan, and the Magic just continually were just devastating Toronto by closing that door shut. Every time it seemed like the Raptors even tried to make a run. I think it was a very impressive win last night, or on Friday, I guess, as you guys are listening to this on Monday. But yeah, man, I think it was a really impressive win.
Yeah, the Magic did a good job throughout the first 3 quarters of the game, just really keeping the Raptors at a little bit more than arm's length. And then when the Raptors really decided to kind of ratchet up the pressure in the fourth quarter, the Magic, young guards did a great job of handling that, I thought, with the press break. Mosley talked about that after the game, that it was a big emphasis for them, and he was really pleased with the way that they handled that. 7 guys in double digits. You got 2 guys with over 10 rebounds. Without Wendell, that's where I thought the Magic were really going to get beat up, but you actually out-rebound the Raptors by 1, which is great. And then you got 3 guys with at least 5 assists with Franz, Cole, and Jalen. Jalen, 7 assists, just 2 turnovers. It's a great thing to see. Yeah. And you laid it out for us. The Magic win this game at the free throw line. 20 of 21 from the charity stripe. Raptors, 11 of 16. Missed 6 free throws. The Magic win this game by 6. To me, that was really the difference. Every other statistical category you look at, these teams basically played dead even. And, the Magic get it done at the free throw line. And, without Wendell, one of your better players, without Markelle in this one, he sat out this game so that he could play tonight. And, the Magic do just enough to get it done. It wasn't pretty, but you get the W against a quality opponent in the Toronto Raptors. Okay, Luke, how much do we want to talk about the Grizzlies game from tonight, from Saturday night?
Not much. I'd rather talk about who didn't play last night and who didn't play in the game tonight, to be honest with you.
Well, let's at least touch on...
We can touch on it, Jonathan,
yes,
but I just don't want to dwell, So Grizzlies win this game in blowout fashion. It never seemed close. The Magic
the first quarter was close.
Yes.
The Magic led until like the final 3 seconds of the quarter. Yes. Tyus Jones hits a 3 to give them like a 1 or 2 point lead. The game was over from there.
The largest lead for the Magic tonight, this tells you all you need to know. The largest lead for the Magic tonight, 1 point. Largest lead for the Grizzlies, 32. Yeah. It wasn't a pleasant game whatsoever. Magic shoot very mediocre from 3, 31%. You have a good game in terms of comparatively in terms of turnovers, right? You have 12 turnovers, but the Grizzlies only had 8. Just kind of looking at it, Jonathan, there really wasn't anything that, sticks out besides the Grizzlies shoot 11 more free throws. You shoot a similar percentage. They shoot 50% from the field. Early on, the Grizzlies just legitimately could not miss. 50% is still, very good. They shoot 41% from 3, 14 of 34. I don't know, man. This game was, we're having to see Schofield play now and Brazdeikis. You're having guys getting DNPs. It's pretty unpredictable now.
Well, it was the second game of a back-to-back. You knew it was going to go bad for the Magic in that regard. without Wendell, you're without Jalen Suggs, two of what probably our best three defenders. Like best defender, probably Jalen. Number two is either Wendell or Chuma at this point without a healthy Jonathan Isaac.
Yeah.
So you knew that the team was going to struggle defensively tonight, and the team has struggled all year offensively. So this isn't a huge surprise of the result of this game, but you get destroyed on the glass. Memphis out-rebounds the Magic 55-41, and for the Magic only having only 4 more turnovers than the Grizzlies more than doubled up the Magic's fast break points. So that just kind of shows you where the Magic's legs were out. Memphis, young team themselves, are going to get out and run. Obviously, John Morant was incredible. Really not the Magic's night. Let's just kind of call it like it is.
And Desmond Bane shoots 66% from the field, 10 of 15 with 24 points. So when you're getting the 1-2 punch of Desmond Bane and John Morant, you pretty much can kiss that goodbye, especially if you're the Magic. I mean, the Grizzlies, despite it being a blowout and being the huge reason, obviously, that they were able to do this, the Grizzlies play 13 guys tonight. They empty the bench. Everybody's getting minutes left and right. Whereas the Magic are just playing 9 guys, even given obviously a DNP to Rolo and Gary Harris. Obviously, like you alluded to, it's a back-to-back. Not surprising, considering where we're at in the year, Jonathan. We're trying to make sure that we're keeping these L's rolling. Don't want to give up anything. Come so far, sadly, in this season, just losing and being good at it. Chuma tonight kind of comes back down to earth. 0 of 7 from 3 tonight with 4 points in 34 minutes. I mean, he ties R.J. Hampton with the most minutes. R.J. Hampton, looking across the aisle, also 34 minutes. Also similarly shot terribly tonight. 1 of 7 from the field, 0 of 3 from 3, 4 points, 4 rebounds. RJ has two turnovers. Chuma has 2 turnovers, but does have 5 assists, which was good to see that he was able to kind of facilitate tonight. Franz, 6 assists as well, 15, 6, and 5, shoots 6 and 9 from the field. And only plays 24 minutes. I mean, these guys were limited due to the circumstance of the game. Fultz, how many minutes did he play in his first game, Jonathan? Was it 8?
The first game, I believe it was
16, right?
Somewhere around there. So, I know, the second game Wednesday, he was limited to like 14 minutes, 58 seconds. They took him out right at.
Tonight was the most that he has played. He played 19 minutes tonight, almost reached that 20 minute. Played the same amount of minutes as our friend Terrence Ross. And he shoots Fultz this is the first time, like the first game where Fultz played, didn't have any, where he played and it was kind of wasn't awesome. 3 assists, 2 of 8 from the floor. Like I said, he shoots his first threes of the season, goes 0 for 2. Not too shocked there. 0 turnovers. I mean, it was what it was with Fultz. He actually had the lowest or best plus or minus tonight. He had a -7. Actually, sorry, Admiral Schofield had 9 minutes played, -1. Fultz -7. Everybody else was like -20, -17, -15. So I'd say Fultz was pretty much, just kind of a neutral factor tonight. I think it was probably the worst or least, well played game that he's had so far.
Well, I think this is going to be a theme with Markelle, at least the rest of the season. He's going to have really great games, and then it's just kind of characteristic of an ACL rehab when you come back, where you have some great games and then you're going to have some not great games out of Markelle. So we all need to temper our expectations there and be patient with him. The good news is the potential for him to have those kinds of moments is still there. We've seen that obviously in the first couple of games that he's played. But yeah, I mean, I think he really missed the presence of Wendell Carter tonight. We have already noticed those guys have great chemistry on the floor. So obviously, everybody plays better, when they're on the floor with better players. And, Markelle Fultz is largely, to this point, really been relegated to playing with, the bench unit as of right now until, he starts to get more comfortable with more minutes on the floor and starts to get some more minutes with the starters. And I hope that we'll start to see that as the season goes on. But like you said, not much to dwell on, nothing that you want to dwell on from this game. Memphis Grizzlies are one of the best teams in the NBA this year. The Orlando Magic are arguably the worst team in the NBA this year. Let's just, call it what it is. Call a spade here. Bad team, lost to a good team.
Yeah, and I did one last thing I want to point out. I want to give a shout out to Mo Wagner. He has I saw, I think it was Jake Chapman that put it out. Mo Wagner of any player on the Magic that plays at least 10 minutes a game has the best offensive, I believe offensive net rating is what he said. Plays 27 minutes tonight, 17 points, 11 rebounds, 6 of 12 from the field. I really enjoy Mo Wagner. I don't think that I have no qualms with Mo Wagner, and I'm happy when he gets to play. He plays 27 minutes tonight, and played well.
I'm pulling it up right now. Gonna pull up every Orlando Magic. He does have the best offensive rating. I guarantee you will not guess who has the second best offensive rating on the team this year.
Do they actually play more than 10 minutes?
They don't.
Okay, Admiral Schofield.
Ignas Brazdeikis, baby.
So
let's be real careful. Let's be real careful. Mo averages 12.9 minutes per game when he plays. Ignas 9.1. So I know we're not exactly comparing apples to apples here, but yeah, let's just be careful with you're just saying, all right, offensive rating, best on the team. It's a great stat. And when you're right there with Iggy, maybe not.
I still love Mo Wagner.
I love Mo Wagner. I'm not trying to take anything away from Mo Wagner.
But it's good context. You're right. I agree.
I just want to add a little bit more context to that statistic.
Yep.
We love Jake Chapman. I'm not throwing shade at Jake Chapman.
Mm-hmm.
Love me some Jake Chapman.
Okay.
All right, let's not make this strange because at some point he's gonna be on the podcast. We don't want it to be awkward.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, anyways, Luke, that's enough for the talk of the games this week. Something happened, pretty interesting on Friday, and then something happened pretty interesting tonight. So Friday night against the Toronto Raptors, Terrence Ross receives a DNP, not on the injury report.
Coach's decision.
A coach's decision DNP. Saturday night, Gary Harris receives a DNP, coach's decision. So we're at the point of the season now where it seems like, I don't know if it's going to be every night, and it's going to take some more games and a bigger sample size to really flesh out this thesis or theory that we have. But it's pretty interesting. What do you think?
I think that's definitely pointing towards the tank is in full force here. Another thing that I don't know what to make of it. I mean, maybe he is just this ill with a non-COVID related illness. But Wendell Carter Jr., like, what are we doing? Like, if he's out again, then we got problems. And at that point, I'd be saying, like, I really hope it's not like a bad sickness. I would hope that they would tell us if it was something that was terrible. But maybe he's just out for these couple games and he'll be back in the next one. I'm sure that he wasn't able to play last night, but maybe he could have suited up and played tonight, and the team was just like, for the good of the cause, let's sit Dell tonight.
When the news came out that Jalen was going to be sitting with the right ankle sprain, which, first of all, I'm not surprised at all the kid hurt himself. It's like every single game, the kid just like falling on the floor or limping or grabbing, and he's always
or favoring something. Yeah,
all the time. It's really, really scary. So I wasn't surprised to hear that he's dealing with an injury, first of all. But when I heard that Jalen was going to be out and Wendell was out, first of all, I'm like, well, we're losing tonight. But then I was like, how long are we going to do this? Like, I feel like right now it's because we are actively tanking, trying to lose to get a higher draft pick.
Yeah.
But what happens like 2 or 3 seasons from now where we're competing, potentially for a playoff spot, or, you're playing for home court advantage. Guys start to get nicked up. Are we just going to sit everybody and just... who knows when we're going to see him? Is this just how management is going to handle injuries for the rest of time?
No, if the team is good at that point, Jalen Suggs does what he does, is injury-wise, and he's not wearing a boot tonight.
People said he looked fine warming up before the game, but he's wearing a boot on the sideline there during the game.
Yeah, it's all
theatrics.
Theatrics. It's the theater of the art of tanking. They've mastered it. They're so good at it. And I mean, we got 17, I believe 17
It feels like
more
satire.
Games. It does. It's like just teasing us too. Like, yeah, Jalen's really hurt. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
That ankle he's always holding, it's finally the straw broke the camel's back, and he's got a boot on.
Yeah.
So guys, don't look, nothing to see here. Just might not see him for 5 more games. Who knows?
And then you see him on Monday, and like, something in that Memphis water. He's fine.
He's fine.
So it was the craziest thing.
He's like doing 360s.
He actually tripped, got up, and his ankle was totally fine. It was
He's
the craziest thing. I've never seen anything like it before. This is just wild. But yeah, it's frustrating because like you're saying, if the team was good, if we were competitive, still had some kind of competitive stakes on the line, these guys would be playing right now. Like let's just call it what it is.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Gary, Terrence, not playing it definitely feels engineered. It feels on purpose.
Yeah, and Joel engineered tank. I think this is kind of just the road we're gonna have these last 17 games, and it's gonna be frustrating. They're just trying to solidify. They've been so bad all year and so young, and they're starting to kind of piece it together. I don't think that's like going above anybody's head. I got a text from my buddy the other day who like isn't a Magic fan. He's a Knicks fan. Shout out Danny. Texted in the group chat the other day and was like, the Magic are kind of good? ? And I think it was when we were thumping the Pacers after we had, obviously come off that win against the Pacers.
We thumped the Pacers twice, but one of those games we lost.
Yeah. So that I do think that the Magic are actually like piecing things together. But it just comes down to
it's called Markelle came back.
Markelle did come back.
We said it all season.
Yep.
And people thought we were, you thought people would have been accusing us of witchcraft.
Yeah. Well,
Markelle comes back and the team's better. Who would have thunk it?
Yeah, and just his minimal amount of playing time, I do think that he has obviously contributed. Jalen had been getting, coming back. Remember, obviously, we talked about that when he first came back from injury here recently, talking about how like the defensive rating has been great since the new year. I just think that there is so much coming together for this team, and it sucks because we see that and we know the potential of this team, but we're not going to get it because of everything to do with tanking. And I get it, man. Like this front office is like, we can't let a pick like a really good player slip through our grasp and say that like, unless we like say we tried, right? Like they want to just, be as bad as possible, get that pick. And then next year it's all, I think the Magic have a very good shot of being one of those teams where next year, where you look back and you're like, their record was what last year, and now they're here. I think that like that is a thing that a casual NBA fan or non-Magic fan will say next year. I really do think that this team is going to have a decent record next year. I don't think that they're going to be awesome by any means, but I think that they will be fighting for an eight spot at least play in if they're able to stay healthy. And I think that that's going to put a lot of people on notice when they see it. It's going to be like, yeah, we've told you guys, we haven't been healthy. We were engineering the greatest tank of all time, sitting out guys with non-COVID related illnesses for 2 games in a row. Our veterans are sitting. They're not playing the same games. They're playing opposite games. It's like,
are you playing today or am I?
Yeah,
oh,
exactly.
I'm playing. All right, I got you.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just like, it's frustrating, man, but it is what it is. But I do think that a lot of people are going to be surprised next year with this team.
I have a hot take.
Oh, boy.
Are you ready for this?
Yeah, let it fly.
Before you react, let me work through this thought.
Okay. Yeah. Process.
Jamal Mosley deserves to be in the Coach of the Year conversation. Let me work through this. Okay.
Yeah.
First of all, terrible team, young team. They've been bad all year, but as everybody continues to point out, doesn't matter if this team's down by 20, 30, lost 5 games in a row, whatever, they continue to fight every single night. The fact that this team's morale has not snapped really at any point during the season, it's bent, but it is not broken at any point during the season, is a massive compliment to Jamal Mosley. Now, let me tell you how this conversation should go about Jamal Mosley and Coach of the Year. All the panelists or the analysts, whoever it is that votes for Coach of the Year, they get together and they start going through names. What do you guys think of Jamal Mosley? Nah. But he deserves to be in that part of the conversation. He just deserves a half of a second of a thought for the way that he's held this team together. Nobody's going to argue that he should win it, but he is in the group that doesn't not deserve it, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to throw that out there. Jamal Mosley has done a great job all season long of keeping these guys not too low when they're losing, not too high when they're winning, even keeled. The guys are learning. They're getting better throughout the season. I feel very confident in saying that, obviously with Markelle now, but just with a healthy Magic roster, this team is better than the team that we started the season with.
We've seen it before, Jonathan. We saw it when Cliff took this team to the playoffs to break the drought, right? The year before, the team battled injury. They couldn't catch a break. The next season, the very next season, they stay healthy with practically the same roster and get the 7th seed. We've seen this. Like, this is not something that's
Jonathan Isaac was a big part of that 7th seed, baby.
Well, of course.
Didn't play much his rookie year. Just want to throw that out there.
Right. So, but the parallel in terms of like this team, it's not like I don't think it's out there to say that this team will be much improved next year. They can't get much worse record wise. That is, but and to your point, before people clown you, because I'm sure there's people that are listening that just like to.
You
clown.
think I don't know that?
And they're like, "Oh, coach of the year, this guy's insane." Jonathan is not saying this guy should be coach of the year. He said it in terms of he is underrated in terms of what he has done for this team. I think that he has had many flaws this year that we can sit here and point out, and Jonathan will tell you that. But at the same time, I mean, they talked about it on the broadcast briefly at the beginning, talking about Taylor Jenkins, the coach of Memphis. I mean, he's so new on the scene that the casuals probably don't even know who Taylor Jenkins is. He was an assistant, obviously, with Atlanta, then Milwaukee. Has been in Memphis. This is his 3rd season. They likened him to Mosley because they said that he is well known to be a player's coach. Like these players love him. These players would run through a wall for Taylor Jenkins because of the relationship that he's built. The Grizzlies go 34-39 in 2019. Obviously, this was no context, injury-wise, whatever. 2020, they go 38-34, and as we see it right now, sitting at 43-21. One of the best teams in the NBA right now, and it's because that the players have a coach that they've bought into the process. If Mosley's process is good, man, I think that this team can really buy into it. I do think Mosley is much better than people are going to give him credit for just because of the record, but it's out of context. They don't know the injuries. They don't know anything, really, because they just see the Magic are the bottom of the league. This team is not that bad. Mosley is not that bad. And I do agree. Like he is I think that's your point, right? Is that he is just severely underrated because of the record. And that's what
I was part like trying to make a joke. So
yeah,
if people took that literally,
right? Well,
just know you're mistaken.
Yeah.
I'm kidding, but we're just trying to drive home the point that he has done, X's and O's, debatable, but in terms of what he has done with his young roster, I don't know how he could have done a better job this season.
Yeah.
That's my 2 cents.
Also, I where I really thought you were going, Jonathan, in terms of like he should be considered for coach of the year, is the fact that he has been so good at accommodating like what the front office is telling him that
he should win executive of the year at this point.
He's doing everything. All right, you guys want a guy to get a DNP? I gotcha. You're not going to play tonight.
If there's any head coach in the NBA that could be accused of taking that Brian Flores deal, $100K a loss.
Yeah.
Jamal Mosley's like, I'm about it.
Yeah.
I'm about it. You need us to lose tonight? Say less.
Dude, me and Brian Flores, we're best friends.
Man. Anyways, all right, we've got a couple of voicemails. Before we go ahead and wrap up the show, let's go ahead and play the first one here, Luke.
Yo, what's up? This is Paul Kotler. I was born and raised in Miami, but, moved to Orlando when I was a little bit older. Man, tonight was rough as a Magic fan. I gotta say it. Cole Anthony has the basketball IQ of a finals J.R. Smith. That had to be some of the worst hero ball I've ever seen. I don't understand why we didn't put Kel in. I get that we're doing load management, but at the same time, that was so disgusting to watch, and I felt gross as a Magic fan. Like, oh my God, I couldn't believe it. Hopefully this team moves forward in a better direction. But man, Cole Anthony, I don't know about this kid as their starting point guard anymore. He might just have to be a microwave off the bench. Not with that shot IQ, that's for sure.
Okay, so Paul is referring to Wednesday's loss against the Indiana Pacers, in which the Magic went into overtime and lost that game. And yes, did not have a great shot selection in that game. It was very frustrating. Basically, he's lucky that Mo Bamba was there to clean up that rebound and tip that in and force that game into overtime. But yeah, Cole Anthony's shot selection at times is definitely an issue, Luke.
Terrence Ross-esque.
Terrence Ross statistically has one of the bottom 3 shot selections in the entire league.
Mm-hmm.
And the eye test confirms this season.
Yeah, and I think, you look at Cole's last 4 games, right? It looks fine if you look at just what the point.
You look at the counting stats.
Yeah. So 14, 5, and 4 in the last 4 games, but shooting 33% from the field and 26% from the 3-point line. It's not good when your field goal percentage is 7% away from being your 3-point percentage as well, unless it's because they're super high and you're shooting a little high volume. But it's not the case with Cole. These last 4 games really has been outside of his rebounding performance yesterday or whatever it was Friday against Toronto. He has been very frustrating to watch, and I really hope that he breaks out of it. I don't know if he hasn't, he's finding his role. He was kind of the hero at the beginning of the year, those first 26 games, and now there's other guys stepping up, and he's not one of them. And I think that he's going to have to try to find his role. And I don't think that the person who left that voicemail, his name slips my mind.
Paul.
I think Paul has a point in terms of he could just be a microwave off the bench. And I think that that's probably a role that Cole might not love, but it's something that I think that he should at least consider in terms of a role. And I hope Mosley considers it as well.
So since January 1st, in 27 games, Cole is averaging 15 points on 36.9% shooting from the floor, 30.8% shooting from the 3-point line, 83.8% from the free throw line, 5.4 rebounds, 5.7 assists, 2.7 turnovers. Just to put it very bluntly, Cole Anthony needs to be better. If Cole Anthony, who has now kind of almost become the de facto face of the franchise this season, if Cole Anthony is going to be your starting point guard long term, he just has to be better. He has to be more efficient. The counting stats, they're great, obviously, but the efficiency needs to be there. Looking at Franz Wagner in that same stretch of games, 15.5 points per game, so half a point more, but he's shooting 49% from the floor, so 13 percentage points better and 7 percentage points better from the 3-point line. Yeah. Franz Wagner is, obviously, we all know he's a great player, but it's just been so much more consistent and efficient than Cole Anthony.
Does it say how many shots?
Does
it say how many
Cole's
shots
averaging a shot and a half more.
Okay. Yeah.
So more volume, less efficient, less stats. I mean, Cole just needs to be better. I'm right there with you, Paul. I love Cole. I feel like he has a lot of potential. If he can get even 75% of where he was the first 25 games of the season, then we're talking about your point guard of the future. But if he's closer to what we're seeing now, then he's probably best suited coming in off the bench. And I don't know. I don't want to speak to I don't want to say his ego or anything like that, but because he kind of has become the heart and soul of this team, kind of the face of the franchise, is that something that he would be willing to do? My feeling would be yes, but I wouldn't be totally shocked if the answer to that was no, Luke.
Yeah, I think he might be taken aback by it, but I think you got to do it earlier in his career rather than later when it's too late to have that conversation.
Right. All right, we got one more voicemail here.
Hey guys, my name is Osh, and I absolutely love your show. I am from Orlando myself, and my hot take is: do you guys feel that maybe it would be a better choice for us to tank our pick and possibly get the 4th pick, so we're forced to pick somebody that's more like AJ Griffin instead of maybe another power forward for our team? That's about it.
So I think his name was Osh. It's either Osh or Josh. I don't know if the cell phone cut out at that point, but first of all, thank you for the support. Thank you for calling into the show. And I think what he's saying is it a good idea not to tank for lower odds, but to tank our odds and end up with like the fourth best odds so that we don't have to make a decision about a power forward at the top of the draft? My opinion is, at this point, you probably take best player available anyways, whoever you think the best guy is, because you're not sold that anyone on the team right now outside of maybe Franz is like a for sure all-star in the future. And, you just got to get as much talent as you can, figure out later. But all that being said, if you think a point guard is the best player in this draft, you take them at 1. Or if you're confident that you can get them at 3 or 4, you trade back and you still get them whenever. When it comes to the draft, especially you're picking high in the draft, they showed us with taking Franz Wagner at 8. Whoever your guy is, you draft your guy, Luke.
Yeah, I think that, like I've said already, you've come this far, with the record that this team has and the odds they currently hold and where it would stand if the season ended today. I think that you've got to just commit to it, man, and draft, BPA. I don't think that you're gonna be like, this isn't a fit thing. Like, I don't think we're that good that we're just like, we could do this, but like he wouldn't fit. I think the Magic just have to take, like, you're not gonna take a worse player just because he fits better. When, like you said, it feels like Franz is maybe the closest thing to like a sure thing, but even still, like, who knows with him? I hope so, but the point being, I don't think you can pick and like you can be too picky about your pick. You just kind of hope you get the best player that you can and plug them in and figure out the rest later.
I'm right there with you, Luke. If you guys want your answer, or if you want to ask us a question, if you want your question answered live on the show, you can call 407-603-1189 to leave us a voicemail. That is just going to about do it. Again, want to thank everybody that showed up Friday night at Friendly Confines. Special shout out to Ben, our event coordinator, for putting everything together. Did a great job, had a great time, and we'll be doing more of those in the future. So make sure you guys keep your eyes peeled. Come out, have a great time with some Magic fans, and potentially win some signed memorabilia. But before we go ahead and sign off, Luke, any last thoughts?
Well, let's keep this tank rolling, I guess.
Let's keep it rolling, my boy. All right, well, for Luke Sylvia, this has been Jonathan Osborne. You guys are listening to The Six Man Show. We will catch you guys next time. See ya.
Thanks for listening to The Six Man Show. Be sure to subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, and Stitcher to get new episodes downloaded directly to your phone. Please take a minute to give us a 5-star rating and a review. It would really help us out a lot. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at 6 Man Show, and like us on Facebook. We'll catch you guys next time. Go Magic.